Is there any such thing as ancestral spirit? No. Is there any such thing as ancestral spirit? Yes. There's no such thing as ancestral spirit. But believe me, there's ancestral spirit. Talking to you about dealing with demonic strongholds. And I'm saying to you, however, that there is no such thing as ancestral spirit. But boy, they are ancestral spirits. Let me clear that for you. Whereas it is true that when a man dies, his spirit is not hovering around trying to monitor what happens in the community out of which he died. No, his spirit is not hovering around like that. In that sense, there are no spirits of the ancestors anywhere trying to monitor what happens in the community out of which they died. But there are things that are called familiar spirits. There are things that are called monitoring spirits. And the way that demons bring people into captivity is to use the sentimental attachment that we have to our own people. If those demons came as demons, you will want to fight them. But if the demon came as your granddad that died, are you going to turn your back on your granddad simply because he has died? I told you the story. When my granddad died on my father's side, and about 5 years or so later, I was serving in Zamfara State. And then one of the masquerades of our place would come to me every night for about 5 consecutive nights asking for tribute, like revenue, like tax. And I know what it meant because I know my people. I know where I come from. I know that masquerade in real life. There is a male and a female version. The male one is called Attilo. It has a bell that it rings. It was that Attilo that was appearing to me in my dream, asking for tax. You know what they were looking for? They said my granddad had not yet been buried. When I saw that dream, I knew what it meant. I traveled from Zamfara home. And I went and told my parents, I said, warn your people. Because before that thing happened, I had suffered a series of losses. They were just unreasonable. I was a corps member trying to... it was when I started having this dream that I realized that this was more like the tail end of that notice that they had been giving me. You see, in the village, they understand those languages. When certain things start happening to some women or some men, they know the language in the spirit. That there is a ceremony now that is due that they need to go and do. And the deities are asking for it. So, these demons are impersonating our dead ancestors. Your ancestor who died is dead, is gone. The dust shall return to the dust, and the spirit will go back to God that gave it. There is not even a purgatory anywhere. So even though there is no such thing as ancestral spirits, the spirits of your ancestors, they are not hovering anywhere, yet there is ancestral spirit, because there are people that have hijacked that category and are servicing it, and many people without knowing are falling for it. Many of us, our parents or us, some of us, it will be at the point of marriage that they will push you and pressure you, and you will go and do something that is an invitation. It is an acceptance of terms and conditions. But you just do it so that they will allow you to rest. So you just marry your wife and go. In parts of Nigeria, there are certain rites that you do when you are getting married. For instance, that after you do that rite, if you become unfaithful in marriage, the gods will come after you. And the idea is eventually they will kill you. Isn't it? But these are some of the baggage that some of our parents brought into Christianity, and they gave birth to us with those baggage. Some of those baggage, when they got them, those baggage, they have far-reaching implications that are transgenerational. Because we were the ones that watched over this marriage to ensure the sanctity of this marriage, we have a right, we have a say over your children, because we are the reason why you know that your children truly belong to you. That was the original African DNA arrangement. You know, God said, I show mercy to 1,000 generations. Because I have something with you, I'm going to come to your children to see if they will allow me to continue with it. The God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Are you with me? God is transgenerational. Satan learns well. Satan also wants to be transgenerational in his dealings. So when he's entering into a pact with a person, he normally doesn't stop with that person. There will be hidden conditions in it that is supposed to include your posterity in that thing. That's how people come under a stronghold of demons. There are not many of us here that are third generation Christians. There are not many. There are not many of us here that are fourth generation Christians. I'm a second generation Christian. And my own parents call me man of God. Now, many of us come from places with those kinds of baggages in our background.